This is the Logan Subdivision, my N-scale layout, which is 6 feet by 5 feet in an L-shaped configuration. It's built on a custom-made plywood-based benchwork with 48-inch legs. The era for my layout is the early 1990s, specifically between 1991 and 1993, when many of today's fallen flags were still rolling along the rails. The layout has three main areas of interest. The first is the town of Logan, West Virginia, located at the front center part of the layout. The second is Peach Creek Yard, capable of holding 30 cars within the yard. And next is the Twin Branch Coal Loadout. This is not a mine, but a loadout where coal is delivered by truck and then loaded into hoppers. There's a yard that is capable of holding 12 cars with an extra storage track capable of holding up to 6 cars. We start our tour in the town of Logan. It is a small town in southwestern West Virginia that back in the mid-1930s was a booming place and wasn't just a coal town. It had its own passenger service courtesy of the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. Things changed, however, in the 1960s as passenger service had ended and the coal boom had begun to cool. Visitors to Logan today will find a relatively run-down town with boarded-up windows on many of the buildings. But it still has an amazing charm all its own. Next up is the mountain. Dividing the layout is a large mountain range which runs through the middle of the layout and then curves and tapers off towards the front of the layout. It helps to conceal the other half of the layout. The mountain also contains the Trace Fork Tunnel, which leads to the coal loadout. The track inside that tunnel crosses over the other 3 tracks beneath it. And the mountain also has a large opening for the other tracks, which will one day be concealed by the highway that runs through that area. Now let's move on to the yard, which is based on the yard in Peach Creek, West Virginia. This is a somewhat lengthy 3-track yard which is used to store both empty and loaded coal hoppers. It can hold 30 cars inside the yard with additional storage on one of the 2 main lines, bringing the total storage capacity to 50 cars. It can also accommodate up to 4 locomotives, with a 5th parked near the yard's turntable. It also features ammonium nitrate tanks for the mines, along with the train order office. The locomotives in the yard vary from time to time. There aren't dedicated locomotives or switchers for this yard just yet. Now let's take a look at the coal loadout, which is located near Scarlett, West Virginia. The coal loadout is run by the Twin Branch Coal Company, a company that began operating here in the 1980s. To get to this coal loadout, trains have to climb a 4% grade and reach Trace Fork Tunnel. Once on the other side, they eventually reach the loadout, dropping off empties and picking up loaded hoppers. There's a mine critter here, which is a dedicated switcher for the loadout. She's an ex-NNW GP18 who has been repainted and lovingly named Miss Scarlet. Now let's take a look at the track plan. The layout is an L-shaped layout, 6 feet by 5 feet, with a triangular corner piece in the crook of the L. The maximum depth is 36 inches, and the layout was made using Atlas Code 80 Flex Track with Pico turnouts. The maximum grade is 4% with a 3-inch change in elevation. The layout is made from 1-inch foam insulation sheets, sitting upon a plywood benchwork base. The mountains are made from a cardboard skeleton covered in plastered sheets and smoothed out with a combination of Sculptamold and Woodland Scenic's foam putty. The layout, as you have seen it, took 2.5 years to get this far, and it still has some work left to be done. I have made a large number of videos over the past 3 years documenting the progress and construction of the layout. I have a Facebook group where you can follow its progress. I'll include that in the description below. And of course, there's this YouTube channel where all the videos are located. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Logan Subdivision layout. It's a layout that I'm super proud of, and I couldn't have done it without the help of 3 amazing people. Trevor, Benjamin, Chase, thank you so much for all the help and support you've given me over the last 2.5, 3 years. This layout is dedicated to the memory of my dad, who got me into model railroading and rail fanning. I know what I have achieved here would amaze and delight him. Thank you for watching, and happy railroading.